Chapter 12, Part 3 of The Nightland by William Hope Hodgson. This Librivox recording is in the public domain. The Nightland. Chapter 12. Downward of the Gorge, Part 3. And I stood upward in that far high place, and held the maid very strong and tender, and she to have covered her ears from that dreadful crying, and to be yet shaken with the greatness and horror of the dying of the monster, and the nearness that she did come unto falling, as you have seen. And presently she came to less trouble, and did weep very easeful, even as a babe doth weep. And I, mayhap, to be not over steady, as you shall think, but yet to have a great gladness set in my heart, and a triumph and an utter grace of thankfulness. And I held mine own very tender and sure, as I did say, and she very soon to be eased of her trouble, and the shock to be something gone from her. And she looked up at me, and slipped her arms upward about my neck, and pulled me downward unto her, that she might kiss me. And we to talk then of the going down, and surely this did seem a great and dangerous task, for truly we had come upward pretty easy in the excess of our fear, but how we might go down with our blood cool, I did be all in doubt. Yet before that we did aught else, I led the maid upward onto the safe part of the ledge, and we sat there very quiet and weary, and she did be leaned against me. And we eat each of us 2 of the tablets, and I to scold and coax mine own to this end, and she to obey and to be better afterward, because that she had eat. And we drank some of the water, and did rest a time longer. And presently our courage and strength was come back into us, and we packed the scrip again, and the maid set it fast to my back. And we went then to the edge of the shelf, and looked downward, this way and that, and surely there did be no way to go, save the way we came. Only that we might shape our downward climbing to bring us a little below that place where the dead monster did be. And I saw by mine own heart, and by the paleness of the maid, that we should do well that we considered the thing no more, but make to the task. And I went immediately over the edge of the shelf upon my belly, and I bade Nanni to follow. And we began then that we go downward, and in verity we went downward for mayhap a great hour, and I gave help alway unto mine own, as I could, and she to come after me very brave, and made that she hold back her fear, and come downward of that cliff, that be oft like to a mighty wall. And surely, even as we came down, I marvelled how we did ever go upward, even though fear did aid us. But indeed I do think it doth be easier to climb safely than to come backward, for this is how I have found. And we made rest thrice upon the ledges of the cliff, and afterward came downward again, and alway very slow, and with exceeding heed where our hands and feet did go, that we slip not suddenly to our death. And once, as I did see, the maid was lost of all her strength, and did be going to fall, because that she did be all gone into a sudden weakness of the head in an instant. And she did be silent, even in that moment, the which doth be marvellous unto me, and to give me a strong pride of her, as you shall understand, if that ever you have loved. And surely I came upward in a moment, that little space that was between, and had mine arm about mine own very swift, and held her hard and fierce against the cliff. And this I did that she should feel how that she could never fall, and immediately her strength and her dear courage came back into her, and I kissed her there against the mighty cliff, and afterward she did have power again to come downward safe. And presently we were come to the gorge bottom, and maybe 100 paces down the gorge from that place where did be the dead monster, all sunk into an ugly and horrid heap, so great as a small hill. And a dreadful stinking did hang in all that part of the gorge, by reason of the slug, and signs of disgust, as you shall think, and the great and mildewed body of the thing yet to settle and twitch, as I did look, as it did come properly unto death in all that mighty bulk. And everywhere the skin of the beast did be set into great wrinklings, and horrid blotchings to be upon the improper whiteness thereof, and truly I did be in haste that I turned the maid away from that thing, and that we haste downward of the gorge. And we went then for 2 good hours, and alway I did hearten the maid, and she to go very hushed and trustful by me. But truly I did be in an anguish of heart, because that I was newly aware that there did be such great and dreadful serpents in that part of the gorge, as you do also know. And I was not over feared for myself, but for the maid that did have no armour to protect her dear body. And because that I was so set with this trouble, I took the maid presently into mine arms, that I carry her, and so to have her clear of aught that should lie among the boulders. And in verity mine own did show an anger very surprising and determined, for I said not why I should carry her, fearing to give her a greater unease, but only that she did be weary, and I very strong and willing. And indeed I could not bring her to reason without I told her, which was not mine intent, for she did refuse me to carry her, and said that truly I had need of no added burden unto my labours. And when she saw that I would not be moved by her reasonings, she made to win upon me by her loving ways. But indeed I only kissed her, and went forward with her in mine arms, and she, half naughty, that I did be so heedless of her wishings, and somewise hurt also, and so to be silent in mine arms, yet mayhap to be something stirred in her nature, that I did be so steadfast to mine intention, despite that her will did be contrary. And this I do believe to be truth, because that afterward I do think that she lay there in mine arms only as a woman that doth be in the hands of her master that hath all her love. And in this wise we went forward. And in the end of the 2 hours that we did go, there was come the end of the dark part of the gorge, and we to be outward of that mighty roof of the mountains, as I do think it to have been, and the air to be free of the stink of the monsters, and the fire-holes to be very plenty, and their smokings to go upward very proper, so that we had no more the bitterness of their fumings in our throats. And there did be a pretty good light to go by the contrast of the past hours. And I set mine own again to her feet, and made that she keep to my rearward, so that if there did be any serpents to our path, they should come first under my feet, and this wise to work no harm to me because of mine armour, neither to Nanni mine own maid. Now by this time it was somewhat of 19 great hours since we did sleep, for we had been a long while making that we come safe from the slug, and indeed we had come downward with a less speed than I did go through upon mine upward way, as you shall mind. And this to be that mine own did not have the hard strength that was in my body to the enduring of great labour and stress, and this surely all to be plain unto you that have been with me in all my journey. And moreover there must be kept to mind the 3 hours that we had gone ere we were come proper into the dark part of the gorge, and so all to be remembered unto you, and also you to mind that we did be wakeful a time ere that we set forward upon that day's journeying. And we did go almost in joyous wise, because that we were come safe out of that dreadful place, and surely odd whiles I did feel the hands of mine own naughty one to be hooked very pretty and sly into the backward part of my belt, as that she did make a pretending that she'd drive me before her, and surely this doth be a strange things to tell upon, for there did be no knowledge of the olden horse in all the eternity of that dark world, but yet maybe some dear olden memory dream did set her hands unconscious to this pretty work. And in verity once I turned very sudden and had her swift into mine arms, as she did pretend to drive me, and she to laugh with a sweet and joyous gurgle against mine armour, and I to heed that I hurt her not, because I did be like an iron man that should put arms about a tender maid. And we looked alway now for a place that should be proper to our rest and to our sleep. And when it did be close upon the end of the 20th hour of that journey, the maid showed me a cave that was, mayhap, 50 good feet upward in the right side of the gorge. And I looked about and saw that there did be 2 fire-holes anigh, and a warm spring to make a basin of water that did lie between the fires, and all very well set to our need, as I did perceive, for indeed we did be utter besmirched with the filth of the slug part of the gorge, and to need that we be nice and fitly washed before that we have any comfort of ourselves. And I bade Nanni to wait a little minute, and I looked well up the gorge and well down the gorge, and lo, there did be no thing to set me in unease, and I told mine own that she keep a sharp and steadfast watching and not to heed me, and this I said because I knew she did be like otherwise to look at me and be over anxious, as I go upward to the cave, and indeed she to be better anyway in watch of the gorge, and to cry out to me if that anything come anigh whilst that I went upward. And I made upward to the cave, and was come there pretty quick, and truly it did be good for our purpose, and fresh seeming, and dry, and to have no holes that I could see for the hiding of creeping things. And I called down gently to the maid that the cave be proper, and she to show her gladness, and to be looking upward at me, instead of the way of the gorge as I set her. And truly she did be a dear and human little maid, and utter mine, so that I did find a new joy in each small lack of wisdom, and this just so much as that she had done a wondrous proper thing. And truly you shall say there was some properness to her heart, in that she could abide not but to watch me. And I went quickly down to mine own, for there was alway an unease upon me, save when I did be nigh to her in chance of trouble. And when I was come down to her, the maid did be seeming a little in thought, and afterward showed me how that she did be all in a pitiful disgust of the dirt and slime and the drippings of the gorge that did be on her, and had made her garment utter wet and bemired, so that she did feel that her very body was a repulse unto her. And I saw how it did be with Nanni, and I went to the warm pool, and felt that it be not over hot, and afterward found the deepness, by the handle of the discos, and this to be scarce of 3 feet, and the water very clear to show me the bottom, so that it was surely a nice and proper place to be for such a purpose as I did think. And I set some of the water to my mouth, using my hand, and truly there did seem no hurtful chemical in the water, and therefore was I eased that the maid should have the desire that I did see to be in her mind. And I saw that I should be helpful to mine own, if that I make the arranging of things to be in mine own hands. And I went back unto the maid, and told her that the pool was very nice to be for a bath place, and that she to haste to wash herself, whilst the gorge did be free of any creature or monster. Now I saw that Nanni was troubled, and feared that I did be going to leave her, and yet did be paused a little in her words, to show me all that she did wish. And surely I stooped and kissed her, as she did look so wistful in her little puzzlement, and immediately I removed her trouble very natural, and told that I should stand guard anigh to her the while that she bathed, and truly she did be at ease on the moment, and mayhap something surprised to know wherefore she had been something alack to ask me, but in truth it did be very natural. And I told her to be so quick as she might, which was a needless thing to say, yet to start her, and she to go quietly to obey me, but first to take the cloak out of the hold upon my shoulders, and to unfold it, and so to the pool. And I to stand with my back thatwards, and to lean ready upon the discos. And presently she did be in the water as I knew, and I to be her man, very sure and gentle to her and sedate. And truly, as you shall think, I did love that I to be stand guard to her in her dear maidenhood, and she, after that she was cheered and warmed by the delight of the water, to sing very low and happy to herself where she did be to my back. And sudden the singing to cease, and the maid screamed, and I to have no thought of improper modesty, but turned instant to the maid. And in a moment I saw what did trouble her, for there came a serpent out of the water, and the maid to be all adrift with natural modesty, and with her fear of the serpent. And I was come into the pool in a moment, in mine armour, and did lift the maid, naked and wet into mine arms, and had her instant from the water and upon the side of the pool, and there I wrapped the cloak about her, and ran very quick and killed the serpent, as it did go offwards among the boulders, and surely it did be so thick as mine arm, and to have come from some hole that did be hid in the bottom of the pool. And I came back then to mine own, and took her into mine arms, and set the cloak well about her, and she to cry and to tremble with the shock and disturbance of the thing, but soon to be eased, and ready to laugh with me. And so she was come proper to her happiness again, and I very gentle and joyous with her, for truly my heart had been sick that she had come so nigh to that horrid danger. And I eased the scrip from me, and opened it, and made her to take 2 of the tablets, and she to refuse to eat, save I company her also. And indeed I did be very willing, for truly my belly was alway empty. And she to be very glad to eat, because she did be clean now, and to have no more disgust of herself. And afterward we drank some of the water, and soon we did be finished, and she to ask for her girdle that I did give her with the knife, as I have surely told. And she belted the cloak very graceful about her, and looked very dear and pretty with her little bare feet, and her hair very lovely upon her shoulders, for she did wear alway in the gorge the lining of my headpiece, and so had her hair dry and sweet. And in verity I did mind now how that she did look very beautiful in her bath, as I had gone to succour her from the snake, and I to be nicely wholesome in this remembering, because of my love, but yet to be knowing that I was sweetly stirred to new things, and did not know before that a maid looked in the same moment so holy and so human. And afterward in odd whiles I remembered, but never to think over much, because that I did feel inwardly that I should be gently wise in such things, and you to understand my heart in this, if that ever you have loved. And surely the maid brought me from my dreamings very sensible, in that she had me to stand, and she was gone about me very swift and natty with her pretty fingers, that she eased me of mine armour. And afterward she bade me to strip and wash, whilst that she keep watch for me of the gorge, and she took the discos and leaned upon it, very brave and proper, but yet, as I do think, with somewhat of roguishness within her, very deep hid and scarce known unto herself. And I warned her to be very wise with the great weapon, for it did fit only to fight in my hands, and did be like to cause harm to any that should meddle with it or make to use it save me. And Nanny to nod that she did hear me, and to be half in fear of the thing, and half to feel that it did be friendly to her, and so to stand guard for me, and truly to seem a very sweet and slender maid, despite the bigness of the cloak, and the great weapon to seem more great in her small hands, and to mind me how strong I did be. And surely you shall think me in conceit, but truly I did be glad to be so strong, and a proper thing for pride, if that there be no scorn for others therein. And you to agree with me in this thing, or to be lacking of sympathy and good human understanding. Now I washed me, not by going down into the pool, for indeed I did not wot whether there be any more snakes hid there in some other hole. And the way I washed was that I dipped my headpiece into the hot pool, and poured the water over me, and rubbed my body very strong with my hands, and there to be surely some certain chemical in the water that aided mine efforts, for the water went very smooth under my hands. And when I was done I washed my pocket-cloth very speedy in the pool, and wrung it, and did then wipe my body so dry as I should. And afterward I wrung the cloth again, and set it about my loins, and so to be as proper as I might. And I did call to the maid that I was proper, and she to come then and kiss me, and she gave back to me the discos, and set me that I stand anigh to the nearer fire-hole, and so to be that I should guard her, and in the same time become free of the chill of the gorge, which was not great in that place. And surely I did mean that I help her, but she would have no help in her work, that she did say to be her glad right, but bade me that I to mine own work to be her dear protector, as she did call me. And I to lift that wilful one into mine arms a moment, and to give her a very loving hug, and for that time to have no fear that I harm her, because that I was freed of the hardness of the armour about me, as you do know. And surely she to feel very dear and pretty in mine arms, and she kissed me the once with a little passion of love, and immediately to want to go from me, so that I freed her in a moment, as was ever my way. And she then to pause a small space off from me, and looked at me with a light in her eyes, and half to put out her arms that she be taken again into mine, but so to cease ere she yield to her heart, and turn from me immediately to the task of the washing. And she took first my body vest, and washed it very quick and clever in the pool, and afterward came over by me, and spread it upon the hot flat rock anigh to the fire-hole. And she got then my change body vest from the bundle of her torn garments, where she did put it to be washed on opportunity, even as now. And mayhap to like that it should lie in her bundle with her own garments, for so as I do mine, the thought came to me very natural, but she to say naught to lead me thus, yet to be a very honest and dear maid, and to have little secret ways of love, as I did perceive, that I did not be told of. And she washed the second body vest, and set it to dry by the first, and afterward did likewise with all my garments, and came then to the washing of her own. And lo, as she spread it also to the drying, there came to mine heart that the maid did have only this one rough and thick garment, that did be the armour suit as I have told. And surely it did be dreadful that she have the hardness of that strong knitted and fibrous garment to be next to her dear body, and I to be in comfort with the softness of my body vest. And I was all angered in a moment that she had gone this wise, while that I had been gentled, as it might be. And I bade Nanni take the second vest to her own use when it did be dry, and she to look upward from where she did turn the garments upon the hot rock, and to mean in the first to deny me. But indeed she was quick to see that I did be truly in anger, and mine anger to come because that I was hurt that this did be, and because that I was shamed that she had gone so rough clad, the while that I had no thought to the matter. And moreover because that she had known her lack, and did not tell me of the thing. But yet I did have a great tenderness in the backward part of mine anger, because that I perceived all the unselfishness and delight of her love that did be about this little matter, as you shall see, if you have gone alway with me. But mine anger yet to be something hard, because I did see that I have need to watch the maid, that she put not her dear body to pain, that I might come unknowing to some little pleasuring or ease, as did be now as I have shown. And truly it did be sweetly done in love, but be somewise lacking of judgment. And so shall you know somewhat of the way that I did be angered, and to have understanding with me. But if you have not, you shall think it to be naught, and that the maid did need only that she be kissed, and to be shaken a little in playfulness, and warned to heed that I did be earnest. And mayhap you to be somewise right, and not to guess far off from the inward deepness of my heart. But yet it doth be verity that I was truly angered, and fit to shake mine own, and in the same moment to be utter tender unto her. And surely this doth be all a contradiction, and the human heart to be a wayward thing, whether it doth be of a man or of a woman. And Nanni, as I do think, to have loved the chafe of that rough garment for love's sake, and to go very humble and loving as I looked at her, but in verity to be never gone from the sweet naughtiness that did be alway in her heart, and to plan even in that moment some new and secret service unto me, that should be for her quiet joy, and to be hid from me, until that my wit should come upon it to uncover it. And in verity a young man doth want that he whip his maid and kiss her, and all in the one moment, and indeed he to have delight in both. And she obeyed me that time, as alway when I did be earnest, without more word, and surely that naughty one did know how I loved her. And the maid washed then her torn garments that did be in the bundle, and had gotten soiled by the slime of the dark part of the gorge. And she put these to dry, and afterward washed mine armour and the scrip and the pouch and the cloak-hold, and all such matters of our gear, and so to be presently done. And she was heedful then that she turned the garments upon the hot rock, and afterward did attend to my bruisings. And when she did rest, I looked to her pretty feet, and rubbed them very gentle and constant with the ointment, and surely they did be pretty well, but I to like that I should tend them, and to have joy to feel their littleness within my palms, and surely she did know how it did be with me, for presently she took her feet inward under the cloak, and I, maybe, to look something woeful, for she put one out presently when that I did the least expect, and slipped it very cosy into my hand, and surely I kissed her naughty toes, and she then to be very sedate. Now presently, when Nanni found the garments to be proper dry, she gave those to me that were mine, and bid me to turn my back and be dressed very speedy. And lo, in a little time, when I was nigh done, she came over and stood before me, and was dressed again in the armour suit, and to look very slender and dainty. And she looked at me, so that I put out my hands that I kiss her, but she went from me very proper, and brought mine armour, and gave me help with it, and alway very grave and quiet, but yet to have naughtiness underneath, as I did believe. And when I was full armed, she took my hand and set mine arm about her waist, and she leaned her head against my breast, and put up her lips to be kissed, as that she did be a child maiden. Yet when I kissed her, she did be a woman, and to kiss me very dear and loving, and to look at me then from under her eyelids, and sudden to make a dainty growling, and to pretend that she did be a fierce thing that should be like to eat me. And I to be utter feared, as you shall think, and to be scarce able that I kiss mine own pretty fierce one, because that I did laugh so hearty, and to be so taken with a surprise that the maid did show this new playfulness. And in the same moment to be stirred and waked anew that she did be so lovely and graceful in mine arms, and to make her naughty growling so pretty that I did be eager that she make it again, but she to do this playing only as her mood did stir her. And she made then that she would go from me, and I to loose her as ever, and she bade me that I guard her the while that she washed the outward part of the cloak, for the inward did be clean, and the cloak proof to water, but the outward part to be something needful of washing. And surely when this was made clean it dried very quick, because that the water went not into it, and whilst that it dried I gave mine own an aid upward unto the cave, and afterward I passed up the gear and the cloak when it did be dry, and so came upward also myself, and brought with me a boulder that I balanced very light in the mouth of the cave, so that it should fall if that anything touched it. And this plan you do know of, for I used it before, as I have told. And truly we did be utter wearied, and the time to be something beyond 23 hours since last we had slumber. And the maid had the scrip and the pouch set to be for my pillow, and the bundle of her torn garment to be for her own, and she to have me to my pillow, and to tuck the cloak about me, and the discos to my hand, and afterward to kiss me very sedate upon the lips, and then to come in under the cloak with a quiet and lovely happiness as I did know, and to be gone to slumber very content and sweet. And I waked 8 good hours after with the fizzing of the water in mine ears, and lo, mine own did be waked and to make ready our breakfast. And I came upward upon mine elbow to see whether that the boulder did be unmoved, and indeed it was not touched. And mine own saw that I was come awake, and she ran to me, very dear and glad, and kissed my lips very eager and loving. And surely as she kissed me I did feel that she had taken again a naughty advantaging of my slumber, and had kissed me as I did sleep, but truly I said no word of my thoughts, for I did mind that I should wake sudden one time, and so to catch her in this, and to call her then mine own, and that she did be a rogue, and all as you shall know that have loved. And I scolded the maid a little in that she had not waked me, but I said not that I would attend to the duties that she did heed to, for I knew that she had joy of these things, in that she did love to do aught that should be done unto me. And when I scolded her, she to make but a little mouth at me, as we do say, and to put her tablet to my lips that I kissed them, and she to kiss mine, and so to our breakfast. And when we were done we gat together our gear, and went downward from the cave, and began again to journey. And we went 18 hours that day, and eat and drunk at every 6th hour as ever. And in the 14th hour I perceived that I did be like to overtravel the maid, though I made alway to have a less speed than did be natural unto me. And surely then I took her up into mine arms, and she to refuse, and to be troubled that I should so carry her, for she did think that I was like to be wearied by the task. And I to take no heed to her protestings, but to laugh gently with her, and to carry her, even as a babe in mine arms, and she to love that she be in mine arms, if but she be able to have assuredness that I come not to weariness through her. And truly it did be a dear love task, and to be set unto the needing of mine especial heart. And I carried mine own then for 4 hours, and in the 18th hour we were come to that part of the gorge where did be the ledge where I killed the spider, ere I slept, as you shall mayhap to mind. And here I aided the maid to climb, and we had the same ledge that night to be our refuge, and did sleep very happy and unharmed, and alway with our spirits set to warn us, if that harm did make to come nigh to us. And we went then through 3 days of 18 hours' journey each, and alway I did carry mine own from the 12th unto the 18th hour of each journeying. And this to be very dear unto me, and to give me a new rejoicing that I did be strong and easy to carry mine own, and she to lie in mine arms very content, when that she perceived how that I did be so glad to go this wise, and that I had no weariness by the carrying. And thus I did rest her feet, and wore not her dear and slender body overmuch with the vigour of my going, and was able to make a very good speed. And mine own, this time and that, to make sayings of impudence unto me, and to hide her naughty lips, when that I should kiss them, and to have quaint nestlings unto me, and odd whiles to kiss me very dainty, when that I did be going thoughtful of the way. And surely never did there be so dear a maid as mine own, so that I did go many a mile, and to be scarce that I knew that I was gone any way, because of the stirrings of my heart and the content of my spirit. And oft as we did go, there were great scorpions in the path, and odd whiles they to have no heed to go from my way, but to be so great as my head, and very fat and lazy, so that surely I kicked a good number from my path, even as you shall kick a ball with the foot. And 3 I burst in this way. And truly it did be well that I had on me mine armour, else had they been like to sting me very quick unto death, for they were so great. And likewise in this place and that there were snakes, but none to come anigh to me, and I to choose alway the open goings, for I did think there to be many hid snakes and lesser monsters in the dark places between the great boulders. And alway when the maid did walk, I to go before, that I see clear her way, and this thing to be but a matter of wiseness, as you shall think. And odd whiles, as I did carry mine own, she to talk a little with me of her memory dreams of the olden days, and mayhap you to think it strange that we said not overmuch on this wise, but the way of our journey to have been so utter bitter as you have seen, and we to be more of that far age than we did be of this present age, and this present life to seem but a dream of memory, and we to be set then with the realness of that life, and this telling indeed to be a plain thing to your understanding. Yet did we have a greater talk to these ends, when that we were come free of the gorge, but yet oft there to be an odd saying and a sweet memory, like to an olden and forgot fragrance of dreams, to pass between mine own and me. And do you to set your sympathy of understanding with me in this thing, and to know how holy these things did be, and far off, and to hold memory as a mist that doth shine with golden lights, that did make an holy pain upon the eyes of the spirit, even as a quiet dawn of this day doth set a pleasure of vague pain upon the heart. And once as I did carry the maid, I saw that she wept a little, very hushed unto herself, and I to say naught, for I saw that it did be a natural sorrow for her father, and for the dead peoples of the lesser redoubt, that did be left for ever unto the desolation of eternity. And so, because I did be wise to leave her be, she to be eased presently, and to wipe her eyes, quiet and secret, and mayhap to think that I did not perceive, and then to nestle unto me, and so to be the more mine own. And about the middle part of the second day we came past the cave where I did sleep on the upward journey, and I to tell Nanni, and she to look upward to the cave, and to wish that she might come a moment into it, only that it did be 20 good feet upward, and I to desire that she run no risk of her dear life when that there did be no need. And so to go onward, and odd whiles to see strange things a-lurk among the boulders, but none to come anigh to us. Yet did I keep the discos very handy in my hand, as you shall think, and had mine eyes alway to look upon every side, and mine ears to be wary, and to use my spirit alway to mine aid. And surely, as we did come lower in the gorge, the maid was all a-wondered at the warmness that did grow, and something disturbed in the first by the new thickness, as it did seem, of the air. And she to waste some of the water, because that it did fizz up so quick, even as I, until that she was come used to this newness. And all this to be very plain unto you. And in the end of every journey we slept 8 good hours in a safe place, and so to go onward again. And the maid to grow very eager, as I did tell her this thing and that of the country that we did come downward unto. And she asked me questions time and oft, and much I told her, and she to think upon it with a growing wonder and desire, even as a gladsome child that hath never seen the sea, and doth be told that it shall presently be there. And this to be but to shadow the way that Nanni did be, for truly she did be a very live and eager maid in all things. And we to be still within the gorge, and to go constant by the fire-holes and the fire-pits, and to see the flames leap upward in this place and that, so that the mighty walls of the gorge would show very plain in an instant, and immediately to come the shadows again, and afterward the leaping of the flames. And so did it be for ever. And oft the muttering of the fire-pits, and oft the utter quiet and the shadows. And this time and that there did be a snake to go by us, and the scuttling of the monster scorpions, and mayhap a moving in the shadows of the great boulders, that did tell me there went maybe some peculiar monster in that place, so that I did be very wary, and to have the discos alway ready. And when the 4th day was come, I showed the maid in the 6th hour the ledge that did be my first sleeping place when that I was entered into the gorge. Now presently, in the 11th hour, after that we had gone 5 hours in a gloom, there did show afar off a shining, and I caught the maid, and I pointed, and she also to perceive that it did be surely the shining of the light of that great country that I did tell upon. And immediately we did begin to run downward, and with sore stumblings in this place and that, but not to halt us, for we did be so mad as 2 children for the gladsome light. And we came down presently in the 12th hour of that journey into the warm light and wonder of the country of the seas. End of chapter 12, part 3.